She kept her eyes lowered as the road climbed, hands folded tight in her lap, the wood of the wagon biting through her thin gloves. The mountains rose like stern judges, their shadows swallowing the laughter she'd left behind. She did not cry. Tears were for people who believed someone might care. Instead, she counted the turns in the path, memorized the creak of the wheels, and told herself that survival was a skill she had already learned at home. The cabin appeared suddenly, tucked between pines and stone, smoke threading from the chimney. It was solid, not grand, but strong in a way that suggested it had endured storms and still stood straight. The mountain man stepped out when he heard the wagon, tall and broad-shouldered, his beard silvered early by wind and solitude. He did not smile, but his gaze was steady, curious rather than cruel. She felt the strange urge to straighten her shawl, as if first impressions mattered after all. No one introduced her. The driver hopped down, unloaded her single trunk, and left without a goodbye. She stood there, abandoned between past and future, heart hammering so loudly she was sure it echoed off the rocks. The man studied her for a long moment, then nodded once, as if he had decided something important. "You must be tired," he said. His voice was low, careful, like someone unused to speaking but mindful of every word. "Come inside, it's warm, warm." The word startled her. Inside, the cabin smelled of pine resin and bread. There were shelves lined with tools, a table scrubbed clean, a chair pulled back as if already waiting. He poured water, set down a plate with thick slices of bread and honey, then stepped away to give her space. She noticed that he never stared at her face, never flinched, never searched for the flaws she'd been taught to expect. As she ate, her shoulders loosened, the tight knot in her chest easing just a little. He asked no questions that demanded explanations she didn't have. When she apologized for being sent without warning, he shook his head. "Mountains don't warn you before a storm," he said. "You prepare anyway." That night, she lay on a narrow bed beneath a quilt stitched by careful hands. The wind pressed against the walls, but the cabin held. For the first time in years, silence felt like safety, not emptiness. She wondered what joke the family thought they'd played, and whether they would recognize the quiet strength of this place if they saw it. In the days that followed, she learned the rhythm of the mountain and the man who lived there. He rose before dawn, worked until dusk, and treated her presence as something natural, not an inconvenience. He showed her where to gather herbs, how to read the weather, when to trust the ground beneath her feet. He listened when she spoke, really listened, as if her words mattered. And slowly, without realizing it, she stopped thinking of herself as the ugly daughter. Here, she was simply herself, useful, capable, seen. The joke, she began to suspect, was not on him at all.